Hi, it's Kiana Miner back with the second video in a 3-video series on how to live your VIP life. Thank you so much for all of your positive feedback on the first video. I'm just so grateful that it has touched so many people and that it's really helped you figure out where you are in your life and where you'd like to be. If you haven't watched the first video, then I'm really going to suggest that you pause this video and go take a look. I'll put a link to that first video on this page. You really want to watch the first video because it sets the foundation for how to live your VIP life. It talks about exactly what is the VIP life. It's an acronym that I created to describe the lifestyle that just makes you feel alive. And you'll want to know what that acronym is. You also want to hear me talk about the 6 key differences between living your Plan B life and living your VIP life. And knowing those 6 differences is really going to help you keep up as we dive deeper into the VIP life today. I'm going to be going pretty quickly through this information today because I have a lot of information to share with you in a short amount of time. And I definitely don't want you to get left behind. So pause this video, go take a look at that first video, and then come back and join us. If you have watched the first video, then I want to give you the special PDF worksheet that I promised you in the last video. This worksheet really helps you identify the 7 specific steps you need to take in your own life to live a more VIP life. Now, this is all associated with a specific goal. So with this worksheet, you choose a specific courageous goal that you want to achieve. You start to map out the 7 steps you know you need to take to get there. So say if you want to become an entrepreneur, the first step might be figure out a name for my business. Step 2 might be get a business license. Step 3 might be talk to people who you want to collaborate with in this business. Step 4 might be put together a business plan. I'm just making this up. I have no idea what you need to do specifically for your business. I would need to talk to you one-on-one to figure that out. But go ahead and just print this out and start to take notes on it and start to figure out, okay, this is my biggest dream for my life, and here are the things I need to start doing today to get there. So this worksheet is really going to help you out with that. All right, today we are really going to dive deep and uncover what we need to do to start living a VIP life. I have 7 steps, just like I promised you in the last video, 7 very specific steps that you can start taking today to start living your VIP life. A lot of people would say and have said that I'm crazy to share this information for free. They say I should be charging for this information. And, I'm going to tell you something. I really want to give this information to you right now because I believe that this information can change your life. I say this because it has changed my life. I'm sharing with you the 7 steps that I have figured out from my own journey, from my own experience, on how to live a life that makes you feel alive. I've also done my research. I have talked to 21 people who are living these extraordinary lives, and I asked them, how in the world how do you live so courageously? How do you live this life that so many of us wish we could live? These people, I have a guy who started a school in Cambodia. I also have a woman who started an organization in Thailand to fight sex trafficking there. I have people who have started singing careers, who have started careers as artists. They have become entrepreneurs. They've quit unfulfilling jobs to pursue their dreams. I have people who've achieved huge accomplishments and people who've achieved everyday things like buying a house. I have one person, she's a poet. If you saw the interview series, you know who I'm talking about. But she's a poet, her husband's a DJ, and they just bought their first house. And she said, this sounds like a joke. A poet and a DJ walks into a bank. But she was like, here I am, years after taking a leap of faith, years after believing in myself and quitting an unfulfilling job to do what I really want to do in life. Here I am accomplishing a personal dream of buying a house. So I think that that's amazing. And, these people have come from all diverse backgrounds. Some have suffered abuse in their childhood. Some of them have, one guy, he was addicted to drugs and alcohol for a little while. They've been homeless. They have lost loved ones. They have had to overcome obstacles that stop so many of us from being who we know we need to be, from being our authentic selves in the world. And they figured something out. And so I've studied these people, and I've thought about my own journey, and I've mapped out 7 steps to help anyone who feels stuck, anyone who feels unfulfilled, go from living their plan B life, where they're settling for something less than what they deserve, to going all the way to living a life that feels extraordinary, a life that lights them up, a life where you wake up and you think, this is exactly why I'm here. This is exactly why I was put here at this time in this particular world to make this particular impact. This is an extraordinary skill to learn. How to go from being unsatisfied to just settling for whatever life has presented to you thus far, to really stepping up and saying, you know what, no matter what comes my way, no matter what obstacles try to stop me, no matter what challenges come up, I'm going to seek to live the life that I was put here to live. I'm going to follow my inner yearnings. I'm going to follow my intuition. And I'm going to step up and be better and have a more powerful voice in this world. That's extraordinary. That's beyond normal. This skill has nothing to do with what you've experienced in your life thus far. It doesn't matter where you started from. And this has been proven to us over and over again. We've seen people rise out of poverty to delivering a powerful message to the world. Look at Nelson Mandela. He was in prison. He was jailed to becoming the leader of South Africa. We've seen people, everyday people, rise out of the most gut-wrenching, detrimental circumstances and become world leaders. Look at Oprah. The abuse she suffered in her childhood, the abandonment she experienced. And look at her now, delivering what she feels like is her message to the world. And that's all this is about, is making you feel more confident in who you are and the message you were meant to deliver to the world, and helping you know that the world will conspire to support you. You can have faith that your bills will get paid. You don't have to live on the street just to give your message. You also don't have to be in control of every little detail. You don't have to be in control of your life. And I'm going to be honest with you. So many times we say we're sacrificing our dreams for our responsibilities. We're sacrificing our dreams so that our children can have the life that they deserve. We're sacrificing our dreams so that the bills can get paid. And I'm just going to tell you straight out that I don't believe you. That's just not true. You're lying to yourself. You're not sacrificing so that all these other things can get taken care of. You're controlling. You don't trust that things will work out without you controlling every little detail. I've had parents, especially moms, tell me that they can't live their dreams because they have children, that they have to sacrifice their dreams so that they can provide for their children. And I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow. I'm not telling you to, uproot your life. Well, you know what, damn it? Uproot your life. Yes, I am. I'm not telling you to do it tomorrow, but I'm telling you to start to figure out what doesn't feel right in your life and make it feel right. Commit to making your life feel the way you always thought it would feel. I'm tired of playing it safe. I'm tired of you playing it safe. When we play it safe, something is missed. When we play it safe, the bigger things that we were put here to do are sacrificed. Trust that your bills will get paid and you can live your dreams. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can do both. You don't have to quit tomorrow. You can start taking small steps to releasing your gifts, to being who you were called to be. You can start doing that small. You don't have to change your life tomorrow. Just start to change your life a little bit and a little bit each day. And I'm going to show you how. We're going to get to those 7 steps in a minute. But you can start small, changing your life just a little bit at a time. When I was living a paper-perfect life, I never imagined that the life I live today was possible. I never imagined that I could be this in love with my life. I never knew what I was sacrificing. It felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do. I had a job, my bills got paid every month. I had a house. It felt like I was doing what people have told me my whole life I was supposed to do. There was just a little nudging. It was persistent and it wouldn't go away that kept saying there is more to your life. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Even when I quit my job from corporate to become a massage therapist, at a certain point in massage therapy, I started to feel that feeling again. I started to feel like something was missing. And so I talked to my husband and he was having the same feeling. And so we decided to totally just kind of change the scenery for a little bit. We decided to rent out our house. We moved out and we rented it out. We decided to sell pretty much all of our possessions. We did keep some stuff, but most of our stuff we either sold or gave it away. We bought some tickets to Costa Rica. We took our daughter, who was 1 year old at the time, we took her to Costa Rica for a month, and we just started asking in the beauty of Costa Rica. And these beautiful mountains, we stayed for about a week before discovering the rest of the country. And we just started asking the questions, what is our highest good? What is the highest vision that God has for our lives? And we started asking these questions, and we started saying, you know what? I will surrender. I will surrender to my highest good. And we really had the time of our lives. We also traveled and spent some time traveling across the country. I saw parts of this country that I'd never seen before. I'm a city girl. I haven't spent very much time in those middle states. But we traveled to Iowa and saw the most magnificent meditation temple. We traveled to California. We walked on fire with Tony Robbins in one of his workshops. We went to Vegas, we went to Illinois, we drove through Utah, and all the while we were just taking in this beauty that we'd never seen before. And just like that story that I told in the first video, where I looked up at the stars in Ghana and I realized there was more to the world than what I had seen previously. And that made me realize there's more to myself than what I might presently know. And that trip changed our lives. It made us more open to possibility. It made us know that we don't have to have every single detail planned out before we take a leap, before we make a move. That things will be provided to us as we need them. And it made me realize that nothing is more valuable than doing what you came here to do. Not the car you drive, not the house you live in. Nothing tells your kids you love them like showing them how to do what they were put here to do. You can't tell them you can be anything, but then show them fear. You can't tell them that the sky's the limit, yet every day you limit your own life. Our children, even if you don't have children, the people who look up to you, they want to know that the magnificent is possible in their own lives. They want to know that they don't have to settle. So I'm telling you, even if you don't know all the answers, even if you don't know exactly what to do, if you can just have faith that whatever you were put here to do, that a way will be made for you to do it. If you could just have faith that whatever gifts you have inside you, that you can live those gifts and eat and have electricity, then I want to show you 7 ways to live your VIP life. So I got my pen and I got my dry erase board, so you know I'm serious, right? So the 7 steps to living your VIP life. The first step, and this is key, and I mentioned this a little bit in the first video. The first step is intuition. You cannot live your life's purpose without your intuition. This is like key. This is the first key to unlocking who you really are and what you were meant to deliver to the world. Your intuition is it's that voice inside of you that leads you to your highest good. It's that voice that knows more than your logical mind knows. It knows your purpose and it knows how to get you there. Your intuition, the 3 questions that you want to ask in order to access your intuition is: how do I feel? How do I listen? And how do I follow? How do I feel the truth of who I am? How do I know what my gifts are and how I was meant to impact the world? How do I listen to my intuition as it guides me on the steps I need to take to make my dreams happen? How do I listen to it? And then how do I act? How do I take the actions necessary? Because let me tell you, fear doesn't go away. You're gonna feel afraid even when you're making steps that you know you're supposed to make. Even when you have faith, fear, it may diminish, but it doesn't necessarily go away. And sometimes it's louder. It's louder and it's telling us to stop. It's telling us not to move forward. So how do you act in spite of your fear? How do you listen to your intuition? How do you take the actions you need to take to get to where you want to be? That's intuition. And that's the first thing you need to focus on. One of the key ways to build your intuition, and I'm just going to write this down because I want you to see this. Did I spell that right? One of the main ways to start trusting your intuition, to get connected to your intuition, is meditation. Now, I've heard some gurus say things like, some teachers and leaders, they say things like meditation isn't for everyone. That is just BS. I'm calling BS on that. Meditation is for everyone, just like breathing is for everyone. Or no, I got an even better example. To say meditation isn't for everyone is to say exercise isn't for everyone. You know, some people benefit from exercise, some people don't. Meditation is exercise for your mind. It's exercise for your intuition. And don't get caught up on the name. If you'd rather call it prayer, then call it prayer. Meditation is sitting still and listening. It's acknowledging that you don't know everything. And that there's a wisdom in the universe. No matter what you want to call that wisdom, there is a wisdom beyond your understanding of the universe. And when you tap into that wisdom, you don't have to do it all on your own. You can be guided to be who you really are. You can be guided to figure out the best ways to give your gifts. So the first thing you want to do is, start to meditate. Now, if you're looking for a beginning meditation course, I want to direct you to Headspace. And I'll put a link to this resource below, but I started using this a little while ago because I wanted to test it out to see if it was good for beginning meditators. And it's an excellent, if you haven't found a method of meditation that works for you yet, if you're not so sure about meditation, Headspace is an amazing resource. It's an app on iPhone. I'm not sure if it's on other platforms, but it guides you through meditation and it helps you to kind of build a foundation of a meditation practice. And it only takes about 10 minutes a day. So you want to check that resource out. But please figure out a way to meditate. And there are like thousands of different ways to meditate, and I'm sure that there's a way that's going to work for you. So start to experiment and figure out if you can find that method that really works for you. So number two is go crazy. Now this is my favorite step because this is the step that no one wants to tell you about. This is the step that so many leaders and so many experts leave out. Go crazy really means letting go of who you think you are and starting to explore the fullness of who you really are. So if you're living a Plan B life, or if you're living a life that's not as fulfilling as you want it to be, then you are limiting yourself. Not only limiting your actions or limiting how you express yourself, but you're limiting who you think you are. You have these thoughts about, okay, I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person, I'm not the type of person that does this, I'm not the kind of person who does that. And you need to let all of that go and start to really just live in a space of exploration. Going crazy is also about letting go of how you think your life is supposed to look. So many times when things are in transition, we stop and we turn around and we're like, this is crazy. I can't do this. I've worked so hard for this life. I've worked so hard for this life to have it destroyed or taken away from me. And the question I want to ask you is, what life have you worked hard for? Have you worked hard for the life that doesn't feel fulfilling? The life that's not satisfying you? The life in which you're not expressing your true voice and giving your gifts to the world? Is that the life you're afraid to let go of? Be willing to let go of your old life and go to the new life, and know that it's going to get a little crazy, or it may get a little messy in the transition, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So go crazy. Be willing to let go of the old life and to reach for the new life, and allow yourself to let go of who you think you are, so that you can reach for something better in your life. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is record your progress. This one is a little unusual. I don't think I've ever seen it on any list of ways to change your life. But record your progress means journal, it means write in a diary, it means create vision boards, it means create vlogs about your life. Really, I want you to start to record your life. The truth of the matter is, we are all here to tell our stories. Whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, whether you are an entrepreneur, no matter who you are, people connect to us through our stories. And so we want to tell our story, but we want to make sure we know what our story is. And even if you start to write things down that you never share with anyone, it allows you to become confident in who you are and what your gifts are. It allows you to become confident in living your VIP life because you know who you are. And if you want to live your VIP life, we know that it's all about potential. And so you get to know your potential when you start to journal. It's such a healing process. And I really think we all need to be doing it on a daily basis. Like I said, even if you never share the things you write in this journal with anyone, but at least you're sharing it with you. At least you're telling the truth about who you are, about what you like, about what you're drawn to, about your daily experiences. At least you're telling the truth to yourself. So if you want to be more authentic, if you want to learn how to show up more in your life, then start to journal. Because once we know our own stories, once we know who we are and our position in this world, it becomes easier for us to live a more fulfilling life. So record your progress. Number 4. Number 4 is heal. Now, I used to be a massage therapist. I also am an energy healer. I'm a sound therapist. I've studied the healing arts a lot. I've studied spirituality a lot. I read the Bible. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I read a lot of spiritual texts, Paramahansa Yogananda. I read a lot of spiritual texts. And I've studied yoga. I've studied so many different aspects of spirituality. And I know that this is key. We must heal. Now, if you've been following me since my Crazy Courage Summit, you know that a lot of my speakers did have things in their past that they needed to heal. One woman who talked about healing from cancer talked about all of the pain throughout her life she stuffed down. And when she got to a certain point, she just could not stuff it down anymore. Anything buried alive is going to come up. Anything we hide from ourselves is eventually going to come to the light. And I think this is what healing is all about. Stop acting like everything that's happened to you is not a big deal. Stop acting like you've gotten over it. Because the truth of the matter is, if you say, oh, I'm over that, it means it's under you. Think about it. If you're over a certain issue, then that issue is under you. So you've just pressed it down. You haven't healed it. So whether it's something from your childhood, something from your early adulthood, relationships that, broke up unexpectedly, someone hurt you or you hurt someone else, start to heal. And I think journaling will really help you with that process. But there are lots of ways to heal, and it kind of depends on what you've been through in your life. But one of the main things you want to do to heal is start to acknowledge the things that have hurt you in your life. Even if you think it doesn't make sense, even if you think, you should have been gotten over it, you have to start to heal, and you have to start to forgive others and forgive yourself. Because pain that hasn't properly been healed, that hasn't properly been digested by your emotions, by your body, by who you are, by your life, Pain that you're holding on to will stop you from living your VIP life. And your life will become a reaction to the pain that you feel based on experiences that's happened to you in your life. I don't care what you've been through. You can heal it. You can forgive yourself and you can forgive other people. So start to unravel that process for yourself. Number 5. Number 5 is visualize. Now this is one that you have no doubt heard before. I'm sure if you've ever delved into the personal development field, you may have created a vision board, you may have done goal setting, depending on what your background is. But visualizing is so important, and let me tell you why. When we get a mental image of what we want our lives to look like, when we get a mental image of who we want to be in the world, nothing can stop us from working toward that goal. Now, you don't want your goals to just be words. I want to achieve this. I want to do this with my life. You want an image. You want to know what it looks like, because our mind responds more powerfully to images. It responds to images, and it will work even harder to make those images a reality for you. So you want to use a process for visualization. I love vision boards, but in addition to vision boards, I also like to spend time in nature. I like to see beautiful, I like to surround myself with beauty. So every Sunday, I go for a walk with my husband, my 2-year-old, and my 11-month-old. And we walk along this path near a lake where you can see the sunset. And to me, that just seeing that scene, because it's just so beautiful, watching the sunset over the lake is just so beautiful to us. And it allows us to stop right where we are and acknowledge the beauty of the world. And so many times we can get caught up in what's not going right and all the negative things going on in the world. But on Sundays, my family, we take that opportunity to take a group walk, and we take that opportunity to be out in nature and see something beautiful. And so that beauty becomes our way of life. And so I truly believe that the images you surround yourself with are what you become. You want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with images that inspire you. What do you want your life to feel like? And once you define what you want your life to feel like, decide, what does that look like for me? What gives me that feeling? So those are just some thoughts to question, but visualization is really key to living your VIP life. Number 6. Number 6 is plan. Now the funny thing about number 6 is that a lot of people want to put number 6 as number 1. The first thing we want to do when we decide we want to change our life is we start to plan. And we plan and we plan and we plan, and then we have this beautiful plan of exactly what we're going to do. And then we start to act on that plan, and then what happens? Limitations, objections, things come up and stop us. And so we'll have this beautifully laid out plan that we never follow. We never take the leaps that we need to take. We never start taking the steps we need to take to make this plan happen. And that's one of the reasons I gave you this worksheet. This worksheet is all about the plan. It's all about putting your plan together, deciding what is your courageous goal, and deciding what are the at least 7 steps I need to take to accomplish this goal. And I truly believe that planning is important, but I don't think that planning comes first. Because if you put planning first, you'll find that you won't accomplish it. And you'll think something is wrong with you. You'll start to judge yourself, like, why can't I just follow through on my plan? I have a plan, why aren't I following it? And my answer to that is that your plan is not based on these other things. These other elements form the foundation of the plan. Start with your highest vision. Then your life will move to a space beyond what you can imagine. So start with your highest vision and start to put together a plan for that vision. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out. Just start with what you know. Just start writing down the things that you already know that you need to do. The things you already know, the skills you already know you need to develop, the gifts you already know that you can start putting out into the world. Start with what you know and allow, the answers to questions that you have. Allow them to come to you. Allow yourself to be guided by your intuition. Number 6 is plan. Number 7, our last and final step. Our last and final step is move. You must get moving. No matter if you do all these other steps and you neglect to move, you neglect to start to go forward and take that leap of faith and take courageous and bold actions toward your life vision, if you neglect to do that, then nothing's going to happen in your life. Things happen because you're willing to take actions based on your belief, but you must take the actions. Now, again, number 7 is something that people usually want to start with. They say, oh my gosh, I want crazy courage. I want to do something courageous. Let me quit my job tomorrow. No. You don't want to make the action the first thing that you do, because courage, as a lot of the speakers in my Crazy Courage Summit pointed out, is an internal process. And so you want to work out that internal process and really commit to becoming more courageous before you take an action. Now, if you feel inspired to take an action, I'm not trying to stop you, I'm not trying to hold you back. All I'm saying is go ahead and start to do steps 1 through 6 first. Start to work out internally becoming a more courageous person, and then number 7 will happen effortlessly. When I did the first 6 steps, actually quitting my job, when I quit my corporate job, I was crying. I was like in tears. I was still afraid, I was nervous. I didn't know how things were going to turn out, there are people who came to me and said, oh my gosh, I want to quit my job too. Shh, don't tell anyone. How did you do it? How did you take such bold action? How are you doing this? And I thought that question was so funny, because the question that I asked was, how could I not? How could I not do this? I couldn't stop myself because I had done all of these other steps. I had completed listening to my intuition. I had started going crazy and exploring myself. I started to journal every day. I started to heal all the things that were stopping me. I started to visualize what I want my life to look like, and I had put together a plan. Now, life happened a little different from my plan, and I thank God for it, because I learned lessons along the way that I needed to learn, and I was able to do more than what I thought I was going to do, and I was able to leave sooner than I thought I was going to be able to leave. But by the time I did steps 1 through 6, number 7 was easy. The action just came naturally as an expression of the next move in my life. I know you've heard this cliche before: follow your heart, follow your heart. But up until now, no one has really showed us how to do that. How do you follow your heart? How do you know what your heart is saying? How do you know what your heart wants you to do? How do you know if the information coming to you is coming from your heart or coming from your fear? How do you take authentic steps aligned with what your heart is telling you to do? These 7 steps. These 7 steps will get you there. It will get you to the point where you don't have to question what to do next, where you don't have to be fearful or worry or go over and over and over and over again in your head. What do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? The action will just naturally flow after you complete these first 6 steps. So here are your 7 steps to living a VIP life. This information that I'm giving you, these are the 7 steps that took me from living my Plan B life to living a life that I'm absolutely in love with. I'm in love with my life. And that's not something you're confused about. That's not something you have to figure out. Well, do I love my life? Do I like my life? I don't know. It's not something you have to figure out. It's just like being in love with the person. You know, like Steve Jobs said, you know when you found it. You know that you found it. And you have no question in your mind that you're in love with your life. And if you're not feeling that way about your life, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I want you to know that it's because there's something you don't know. There's information that hasn't been taught to you before. We can all learn to be more courageous in living our truth. We can all learn to make bigger and bolder moves toward being the people we were meant to be in this world. And these 7 steps are how you get there. If you practice these 7 steps, they're how you can go from living a life that feels like you're stuck, feels like you can't move forward, feels like you're frustrated because you want to do more, you want to give more to the world. How you can go from feeling like that to really feeling confident that you're doing every day when you wake up, you're doing what you were put here to do. That's a feeling that is worth it. It's worth it to explore. It's worth it to go after it. And don't listen to the objections that come up that tell you that you're not worth it. It's just trying to self-sabotage. Those are just the ways we sabotage ourselves. We start to procrastinate. We start to tell ourselves it's no big deal. We start to tell ourselves it's just not worth it. And that's a lie, and you know it. We all want to make a difference in the world. We all want to feel joy and happiness every day. Don't let people try to tell you that happiness is overrated, because it's not. I've been happy and I've been unhappy. And let me tell you, I will take happy every single day of the week. Happy feels so much better to me than feeling unhappy. And when I'm happy, I give so much more of myself to the world. I give so much more to help other people. I give so much more to the people around me, to my family, to my friends. And I just feel better about life. I'm doing this for kind of selfish reasons too. Because if you don't live your life's purpose, there's something that the world is missing out on. And to think of that, all the people that I've met who stifle their dreams inside of them are preventing me from learning some really amazing thing, from witnessing some really amazing art, from learning some really amazing skill. And I don't want to be deprived. I want to know who you are and what you were meant to bring to this world, because I know it's something that we can all benefit from. As small as you think it is, it's something we can all benefit from. So if this information benefited you, like it, share it with your tribe. This is video number 2 of our 3-video series. In the next video, I want to dive deep into one of these steps. And I'm not going to tell you which one it is because I want it to be a surprise. But I have another worksheet to give you that's really going to help you figure out what are your objections to living your best life. What are the fears that come up? What are the specific worries that come up that stop you from moving forward, that stop you from living the life you deserve to live? And I'm going to show you a process, and it's a process that's just very powerful, a very powerful process on how to break through, how to get past those limitations, how to stop procrastinating, stop sabotaging yourself, stop preventing yourself from being all that you were meant to be. And this is the process that I actually follow. Actually, I followed it to put out the Crazy Courage Summit and to do so many things in my life. But this is actually the process that I follow every time I want to break through. Every time I want to go to a new level in my life. Every time I want to do something that I've never done before. This is the process that I follow. So you're going to love it. You're going to get a free worksheet to really help you work through it. And we're going to work through it in this 3rd video, because I know that those fears and those objections can sometimes be a lot louder than our intuition. And so this process will turn your intuition up and turn your fears down, so you don't want to miss it. Until next time, I do have homework for you because I really want you to implement this in your life. I don't want you to just listen to it and say, that sounds good, Kiana, and not do anything with it. I really want you to implement it in your life. So I believe courage is a muscle that we can build, and so when I give you homework, I feel like you're building that muscle. So your homework is, I want you to, in the comments below, I want you to name at least one thing that stops you from living your most courageous life. Just one thing. when you want to go bigger, when you want to live a more fulfilling life and you try to go after it, what's one thing that has stopped you in the past? Answer that question in the comments below, and thank you so much for listening to this video and watching me explain these 7 steps. I know they're going to have a powerful impact in your life. Please join me for video number 3, which will be released in a few days. And in that video, we are going to dive even deeper into how to live a VIP life. So until then, see you later. Bye.